My name is Tanav, but my nickname is Mohan. And I'm going to talk about the parts of the human eye. First, we go to the sclera, the tough outer coat that protects the entire eyeball. It also needs nourishment from the choroid, so there's several blood vessels in the eye to nourish every part of the eye. And then the cornea right here. The cornea is right here, and its main function is to bend the light to see properly. And the cornea also prevents the aqueous humor inside from rushing out. And the aqueous humor, which is transparent, is a fluid that prevents the eye from collapsing due to changes in the atmospheric pressure. And the iris is a dark muscular diaphragm right here that protects the entire eyeball. And this iris measures the intensity of light and measures the right amount of light entering the eye. It adjusts it. It measures the intensity of light and adjusts it by increasing or decreasing the size of the pupil in the middle. And the pupil is a small hole. A pupil is a black hole in the center of your eye. It lets light in to focus on the retina. And the conjunctiva keeps the sclera in place. It's a tiny tip that protects it and keeps it alert. And the lens is a eye lens. The lens have proteins and jelly in it, and even from fluid. When light enters there, it makes an inverted image on the retina, upside down, right here. And the suspensory ligaments right here are the holders of the lens, and they hold it together. But not only, they also measure the intensity of light like this, but differently. It squeezes the lens or thickens it to make us see how far or close the objects clearly, like that. And the ciliary muscles are the measurements of the eye. So that's why they say there's muscles in your eye. The ciliary muscles adjust the focal length of the eye so we can see objects clearly. Sorry. And the vitreous humor is a clear jelly-like substance right here. All this. It maintains the shape of the eye since the eye can't hold its shape. And the capillaries, the eye capillaries, nourish the whole part of the eye. It nourishes it so it can function properly everywhere. And the retina is where there's about millions of rods and cones. There's about 10,000 rods and about 8,800 cones. The rods can detect black or white light. They are not responsible for detecting colors, while cones can detect colors. There are 3 types: red, green, and blue. The red cones are the longest wavelength ones. And when you see something brown, the red and green cones get activated. And when you see purple things, your red and blue cones get activated, making and send signals to the brain through the optic nerve. The macula has maximum number of cones in there. A lot of cones make you see a lot of colors. And the fovea scintillaris is a small depression inside the macula. It's packed inside the cones and is more sensitive to colored light than black light. And the blind spot is insensitive to light. The blind spot is where the optic nerve enters the eye, and it's insensitive to light. I said that. And it also makes us see very low colors like black in a cave. And it's insensitive to light, since it is called the blind spot. And the optic nerve travels all the way to the brain. It sends signals to the brain, and the brain flips the image right up and tells you what you see. And the choroid, or this, but not this. The choroid has several blood vessels inside it that nourish the inner parts of the eye. Parts of the choroid nourish it all. Every part of the eye. 100% of the eye is nourished. And this all gets nourished because of blood vessels, and the arteries bring blood away from the heart and nourish every part of the body, including the heart. And the veins take away deoxygenated blood from every part of the body and bring it back to the heart for it. And the renal veins head towards the kidneys, even the renal arteries. And let's talk about the pain and problems with the eye. The retina is bleeding because of this pulling of the retina going forward, and the broken rods. It may cause due to injury of your eye and excessive consumption of drugs like alcohol and smoking. Though good, it can break everything. And when all this happens, it can hurt your eye and make you blind too. So a doctor should help you, and if it's left untreated, it can cause severe problems with your eyes and even cause your eyes to turn black, making you look like a wild zombie. Everyone will run away from you. And the functions of the eye are the cornea, sclera, conjunctiva, and iris, lens, suspensory ligament, ciliary muscles, choroid, retina, fovea scintillaris, and macula. They all do the jobs. First, the sclera. The sclera protects the entire eyeball. That's its main function. And the cornea prevents the aqueous humor from leaking out and bends the light to make it even more clear. Like this. When you see something right here, it's a little bent. So it travels towards your eyes and bend. And the iris's job is to correct the intensity of light by adjusting the size of the pupil. The pupil's function is to let light enter. And the lens job is to make you see objects clearly by contracting or expanding like that. And the suspensory ligaments adjust this to make you see objects more clearly. And the ciliary muscles adjust the focal length to make you look things easily. And it also keeps the iris in place. And the choroid's job is to nourish the inner parts of the eye. And the blood vessel's job is to nourish the entire eyes. And the optic nerve's job is to send signals to the brain about your vision. And the blind spot job is to help you see in very, 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 very low light conditions with maximum number of rods inside. And the vitreous humor's job is to maintain the shape of the eye. %, of the eye is nourished by the blood vessels, sometimes 91%.